What do we have at the foundation? Strength. Leo energy in reverse at the foundation of the reading. So I've been getting this message all day, and it's in regards to you reacting, you being provoked by a certain individual or individuals. And I feel that they're only doing this so you fall into the narrative they've created around who you are. Now, it's interesting that we got the Strength card in reverse because the Strength card in reverse is an energy of lacking self-discipline. A lot of you are approaching some really big breakthroughs. This has been in the readings, it's been in the energy. For the most part, you all feel this coming, and most of you know what it is that you're getting ready to have some sort of push forward with. Could be in your career, it could have something to do with your personal life, but it's something that you've been sitting on, something that you've been planning for a while. And because of the astrology, we're kind of in the 11th hour right now. So during this 11th hour, you're going to find yourself being tested. So you self-sabotage and aren't able to step into this new beginning that you're about to have. Now, there's a lot of jealousy and envy inside the collective right now. There's a lot of people that are getting ready to have this level up. And there's people that haven't been putting the work in, or they've been creating problems for people that have been putting the work in. Now, this is something that is very much being illuminated throughout the collective. And there's a lot of self-entitlement here. There's people that think they should have what you have for not putting any work in. Yet here you are grinding away, putting the focus and work in, healing yourself on a spiritual level, and finally having positioned yourself to a point where you actually deserve it. But you can throw it all away if you react to some of these childish, immature narcissists that I'm picking up on here. I'm also getting another message that your surroundings are very important right now. It's very important that you're getting away from any sorts of losers, anybody who's going to drag you down. And again, these messages have been weaving their way out through my readings for the past few months, but it's much more potent now. It's as if these messages have all been leading us up to this very point. And, you know, now is a really perfect time to raise your standards around your personal relationships, whether they're friends, whether they're family members, whether they're people that you want to date, coworkers, whatever it is. Base your relationships on who can provide you with peace and progress over anything else. You know, something that I always say when it comes to my personal relationships is give me peace and I will love you to the moon and back. Everything else comes after that. And I feel that there's been a major shift inside the collective. People are starting to be less materially minded when it comes to their relationships. Now, obviously, this can speak about money, it can speak about looks and all these kinds of things. And yes, these things play their part, but they should not be first. Because the problem is, if they come first, you will lose everything that comes after them, if there's imbalance in some of those areas. I've also been getting messages surrounding somebody looking for everything that you are actually getting ready to become. This could be in regards to an ex, family members who counted you out, didn't support you on your rise up. And now here you are having left these people behind for success in your life because they weren't supporting you, they were dragging you down, and now they're trying to look for other people to replace what you had all along. What do we have at the sacral, please? Seven of Pentacles, Taurus energy in reverse at the sacral. Now, I'm picking up something here regarding individuals who are beginning to see a lot of misfortune in their life. Energy is leaking out in all sorts of different areas because of their treatment towards you. These individuals didn't realize that you were sent into their life to weigh their hearts. You didn't even realize this. The entire time, it's as if you were undercover, measuring their vibration, checking their energy. But it was merely your presence that was the barometer by which this was all calculated. And I just heard enough is enough. So I feel as though it got to the point where nothing was changing. These individuals had done enough damage, and the divine lifted you out of these situations and placed you on the path that you were always meant to be on. It was time. You had learned all the lessons you needed to learn. You had gathered all of the wisdom that you needed to gather, which you are now going to arm yourself with moving forward on this new path. And these individuals, well, they're going to have to watch. I'm also picking up something here, again, regarding individuals that are trying to replace you. These are the kinds of individuals that pray for a certain someone to come into their life. so that someone does come into their life. Maybe everything isn't perfect, but for the most part, that person aligns with what they really wanted. But the divine always knew that they would sabotage these connections and relationships with these people. And it doesn't even have to be romantic. It can even have to do with opportunities in career. But it's as if this person has squandered so many blessings that now when they try to bring somebody into their life, they're sort of a hodgepodge of all the people who they've let down on their path. In other words, this person tries to replace the people that are no longer in their life with copycats. But there's been so many copycats now that these people that they go for are just made up of kinds of doll parts of all the individuals that came before them. In my mind's eye, I'm seeing somebody, it's if they are losing their mind. They're going over all of, oh, okay, I understand what's happening. Yeah, there's an individual in the energy that is having issues with their mental faculties, let's just say that. But it's actually karma that is playing out in their life for the amount of distress that this person has laid on other people. I feel that this person has engaged in deliberate cruelty to hurt other people and make themselves feel better about the person they are. I just heard broken people break people. I don't think I've ever said that one before, but I like it. What do we have? The solar plexus? The Chariot, Cancer energy at the solar plexus. Now, here you are heading towards victory. It's taking everything inside of you to stay forward focused on your path, despite any of the outside noise. It almost looks like a mob scene here of people. You can't tell if they're cheering for these individuals having victory or success, or cheering because these individuals are being led to the slaughter. It's very hard to really distinguish that here. But one thing is for certain, within the coming months, we're really going to see who's who. Who was doing it all along is what I'm hearing. Who has been lurking in the shadows this entire time. And it's one of these situations where you truly begin to understand the presence of the divine and God in your life by way of how the exposure around you is unfolding. I feel that a lot of you are going to have a much more heightened sense of connection with spirit as we start making our way into the rest of the year. As long as you're nurturing that connection, it's ready and available for you, but you have to make sure that you are showing up to that place of communion. As long as you do this, your protection will become stronger, as well as the support in regards to your path and where you're headed. And with these three cards on the table, the feeling that I have in the energy right now, it's like an energy of celebration, but nobody's happy for you. And you never saw this coming. It's like the divine is saying, get ready. You're about to have your breakthrough. Part of you is excited for the breakthrough, but there's bitterness there. It's bittersweet, right? Because there's nobody there to cheer you on. But the divine says to you, this is how it was always supposed to go. This is when we prepare a table, a feast for you in front of your enemies. It has to go down like this. And most of you could care less. I think if you had it your way, you would actually prefer the support. But there is a divine plan here, and you are a divine weapon that Source is using to help awaken individuals to how it really works. So that's the problem here. There's too many people that think they are in control. They don't understand the hierarchy to our existence here. They don't think that there's any consequences for their actions. And these are the ones that learn the lesson much harder than others, right? This is the typical narcissist who goes through their life destroying lives and hurting people on purpose, deliberately, thinking that they've gotten away with it. But then, once they've gotten on for a good portion of their life, the divine starts to break down the reality that they think they have built on other people's pain and suffering. And right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is speaking about this new timeline that you are all getting ready to step into. And as the wheel is turning, we see the devil on the bottom, right? And we're on approach, so we're not quite there yet. Everything is sort of happening. There's this great reorganization taking place inside the energy. The universe is sorting all these things out. But the message is that you must keep very focused right now. It's like you need to have these blinders on, completely blocking out everything that's happening around you, that is trying to distract you, that is trying to get you to react. Do not give up your power to anyone or anything that is trying to poke holes in your happiness. Let them think that they are getting away with all of it. And then when they least expect it, you are going to rise out of your own ashes. There'll be a splitting of timelines. You will push forward and elevate to the new chapter of your life, the new timeline. And these individuals will be exiled to a lower vibrational timeline, having to pay back all the karma for what they did to you. You were hidden in plain sight, like I mentioned. It's like you were undercover and they didn't even know it. What do we have at the heart, please? Nine of Swords at the heart, Gemini energy. You know, karma unfolds differently for everybody. But I feel for most people, one of the things that I hear quite a lot is that individuals get stuck inside their mind regarding what they may have done to another, right? Just the overthinking and analyzing. And it's really all of that that creates a reality where everything is colored with this pain and suffering that they brought into another's life. Right? I mean, this perfectly illustrates exactly what I'm saying. Up at night, nightmares, the constant repeating of events, words said, tears shed, years lost, and it was all by order of their own will. I am seeing an elderly person laying in their bed right now. This is one of these people who's beginning to get their karma now at the end of their life when they don't really have the energy to try and do anything about it. It's as if they are marinating, having to lie in the bed that they themselves made, but for others. Nine Swords driving through their soul. And the one thing that has began this downward spiral for these individuals is you moving forward. This was the switch, the trigger point. As soon as you were able to gather the strength and confidence to break free of the chains that were binding you, everything flipped. I see these scales in my mind's eye, the scales of justice. And instead of slowly leveling out, I just see them swinging very rapidly from one end to the other. It happens without warning. They don't even see it coming. Even though all the signs were there, they failed to recognize them because they were too arrogant and too egoic and too self-absorbed in their own narcissism. What do we have at the throat, please? Ace of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the throat. During this time, it's very important that you understand the seriousness of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Simply put, don't talk or think about negative things because you're going to draw more of that negativity to you. Now is the time to be reprogramming your mind about how great you are, how strong you are. Not in a way that's egotistical or self-absorbed, in a way that's deserved. Because remember, other than you, God, and the divine, nobody down here in the material world is necessarily cheering you on. Yes, there's a community of all of us here on my channel, but in your everyday waking life, you need to become your biggest cheerleader. You need to love on yourself like nobody else has. This is something that we all need to get better at because we need to begin to understand that in this new world that we're in, we have the ability and the power, rather, to manifest on a dime. People who always talk about negativity and their problems always have problems. Have you ever noticed that? It's because they're just manifesting it over and over. You need to stop, take a step back, and reprogram your thoughts, your mind, the way you communicate with self. This is something that I really learned about roughly 7 years ago. Felt like I had this dark cloud that was always following me around. I could never do anything right, but I was also really hard on myself. Not in a good way that's motivational, in a bad way, right? My relationship with myself was very poor. I didn't like myself very much at all. I was also still very much stuck in that victim mindset where I kind of felt sorry for myself because of all the things I'd gone through in my life. And although those things weren't necessarily all my fault, some of them were, I was allowing them to steal my power away from me. Now, I did mention something similar in the reading I just put out a couple of days ago, but we really need to, again, be very mindful and pay attention to this. They're highlighting it here again now for a reason, okay? If you feel that something similar is unfolding in your life, you've got to work to get yourself out of that space before you do anything. Do not allow yourself to become a victim of somebody else's treatment towards you that you may have not had anything to do with. Because what you don't realize is that person is still controlling you in some aspect, and they may not even be in your life anymore. You know, a lot of people come to me after they've just gotten out of a really toxic relationship, and they haven't really done the healing that they need to do. They're essentially carrying this residual energy around with them that is coloring their experience. And I try to explain to them, hey, look, you may not even realize this, but that person energetically is still in your life. And it's influencing the way you're interfacing with new people that you want to have come into your life. So you're kind of energetically self-sabotaging without even knowing it. So it's very important that we're focused on our healing right now. Nothing else. Focus on releasing any of these negative energies, whether it's something from a past relationship, whether it's something from your family, your friends, whatever it is, you need to be focused on preparing yourself to start with a completely blank canvas within the coming months, 1 to 2 months. Okay? You should be done with all of this. We've been working up to this for a very long time. I say you should be done kind of loosely because we're never done with our healing, but you just want to be self-aware enough to know what's going on. Oh yeah, I did go through that. So I just need to be mindful of that trauma when I'm trying to entertain a new energy. As long as you're self-aware, you've pretty much won the battle, okay? Just don't deny yourself of any sort of truths in regards to what it is you may have gone through. Be very honest with the person you are and the person you once were. You know, just like I mentioned to all of you, I didn't like myself very much. I was in a victim mindset and I didn't even realize it. There is no way that I would have ever been able to admit those things to myself back then like I can now. And it's easy now, right? It's kind of cool to do that. I think it's very attractive when somebody can do that. So now we're getting on the other side of perception and the way you're perceived and the way that you think about yourself and the things that you have gone through. Simply put, being honest again about your struggles, everything you've gone through, no matter how humiliating those may be, is very, very cool. It's very, very attractive because what you find is you create a space where other people can open up about the same things or similar that you have gone through. And now you are creating a community of healing. And this, my friends, is what it's all about. People want to know that they're not the only one suffering or the only one that has suffered. My mind's eye, I'm seeing it's like a group setting, you know, people sitting around in a circle, sort of like a support group. And there's people sharing stories and I'm just seeing people hugging. Okay, now that's how I kind of see all of us here, right? You know, the stories I hear from people about what they've gone through and how I've spoken about something in a reading and it's allowed them to feel less alone. At this point, it's like I've been on this platform now. I'm heading towards, well, I just hit 4 years. It'll be 5 years in December. There have been, no exaggeration at all, hundreds of people who have reached out regarding everything that I'm saying right here. Okay? Which brings me to you needing to know that you are absolutely not alone in this world. There are countless other people out there that may not be going through the exact same situation as you, but are going through the same energetically. See, in spirit, the events we're going through are measured by the energy, by the vibration of things, okay? And this simple knowing that you're not alone, a lot of the times can be exactly what you need to pull you out of a really dark spot. As I sit here telling you all of this, I'm thinking back on those times when I actually thought that I was alone in the world. And though, yes, I may have felt and it may have actually been that way circumstantially in my reality, in my physical world, there was other people in all these different corners of the globe that were going through the same. And see, that's another thing that's really amazing about this space that we have here on my channel or other channels in the community that are similar, is that it creates this sort of web. It connects us all together. And then we go about our everyday waking lives and it helps. It's like these are our support groups. So having said all that, you've got a victory here. We have 2 cards that are representing this, the Chariot and the Ace of Swords. Victory, victory. Victory over those who tried to hold you back, okay? But you got to stay focused now more than ever. Again, we're in the 11th hour now. You're so close. It's kind of like we're walking on a tightrope right now, right? To get to the other side. We've got to be very careful. Every move, every step needs to be made with absolute precision. It's like walking on the razor's edge. There's this sort of careful balance that needs to be achieved in order to make it through all of the noise, all of the distractions. And it's interesting because I was preparing to do the Leo reading. I was guided to do this reading because the messages that were coming through for Leo are messages that the entire collective needed to hear, not just Leo. And then sure enough, the first card out was the Strength card in reverse, which is Leo energy, okay? So there's this sort of interesting crossover here between Leo and the collective right now. And just a little side note, if you're ever waiting on your zodiac signs, just know that if I'm doing collective, it's because I was called to do that. And chances are there's going to be messages in the collective reading for you. It's important to do these ones because they reach about 3 times the amount of people than the individual zodiac signs do. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a drag because there's big messages in a lot of those zodiac readings. And if I simply labeled it a collective reading, then the messages would have a far wider reach. So having said that, don't pay attention to who the readings are for. Just listen to it. It's either going to resonate with you or it's not. Okay? What do we have at the third eye, please? Perfect. Literally followed everything I just said. Okay, King of Cups, emotional balance, stoicism. We manifested this card into existence because this King of Cups is the stoic of the tarot. And this is exactly the energy that you need to be in order to navigate this path. I feel as though there's an urgency to this reading and the reading I put out before this. These messages could not wait because of how quickly you guys are approaching this breakthrough. I've mentioned it many times. I'm sure that you guys have heard it in many other spaces, and you may even already be aware of it if you follow the astrology. But about February 23rd, this is when there's a big push forward. Okay, so that's a little less than a month away. So I feel as we approach the end of February, there's going to be a ramping up of this energy. I feel a lot of excitement. I actually am excited for the readings because I think they're going to become pretty intense. And I feel that this reading right here is a bit of an indication of that. What do we have at the crown, please? Again, literally following what we're saying. Two of Cups, Cancer energy in reverse at the crown. So this Two of Cups in reverse is representing somebody who's envious of you and trying to create some sort of disruptions in the energy, quite possibly by getting you wrapped up in some sort of petty quarrels or arguments. Again, there's a lot of jealousy here, and it's right at that crown position. So this is the divine sending you a warning. Hey, listen, you guys need to watch out for this, okay? I'm getting a lot of ringing in my left ear right now. Yeah, there's like this warning alarm going off. I feel it. So this Two of Cups in reverse at the crown, this is spirit giving you a warning. Hey, look out for this energy that's trying to come through and start some sort of arguments with you, some sort of war. All of this is some sort of strategic plan to stop you from moving forward because they know if they can get you wrapped up in this, they can lower your energetic vibration and you will not be able to cross through this portal. It's like all of the work you've put into yourself unravels as soon as you engage with this energy. And then right on the bottom of the deck, wow. High Priestess. So spirit, divine guidance, right? Trying to stay connected to you and show you the way. And then Five of Pentacles. This is what happens if you engage with this energy, right? Back underneath that dark cloud. This is nothing that you haven't dealt with before. You have been down this path many times. This ain't your first rodeo. Let's put it that way. Okay. So you should know how this goes. For some of you, this is going to take a lot of willpower to hold back. And I got to say, again, I know this. I've been feeling very tested lately with a couple of things in my personal life. I just really want to, let a couple people really have it, but I've just held back because I know that I won't benefit from that. All that's going to happen is I'm going to be worse off than I was before I engaged. And then I quickly remember that it's not up to me to fight my battles, right? I have a mission here. You all have a mission here. Lay your burdens at God's feet. He will take care of them for you. You are to stay focused on the task at hand, period. There's no way around that, okay? And I hear people trying to challenge that all the time, but I'm telling you, it will always end up blowing up in your face. Literally blowing up in your face. What do we have at the foundation, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the foundation, please? Wow. Sometimes when I look at this card, so this is the Page of Wands, it almost looks like he has, well, I think it's a bird, but sometimes if you look at it from a distance, it's like he has a stick of dynamite in his hand. This is a trickster energy, right? So this follows what I just said about it blowing up in your face. It's like you engage with this energy and they're like, ha ha, I got you. Now you can't step through the portal. You got to stay here with me. Page of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sag, energy at the foundation, red in its negative polarity. So this is an energy that creates setbacks in your life. It's an energy that's lacking direction. And what's really wild is, there's this bridging energy between my last collective and this one. I got that exact same card at that exact same position in the previous spread. So they're really doubling down on these messages here. Okay, I just heard, Spirit wanted to make sure that the people in the back got the message. Okay, and for those of you who got the message, there's just added details to this one here. And the thing is, when it comes to these messages and tarot in general, for me personally, and I've heard a lot of other people say this as well who watch my videos, they're sort of reminders for me, and they're like encouragement, right? And sometimes I'll hear the same message repeated, and it's to sort of make sure that it sinks in. I'll listen to one reader, I'll hear a message, then I'll listen to another reader, and there's a similar message. I'm thinking, oh, wow, this message is really following me around. And it has a way of slowly massaging itself into my subconscious mind so I get the memo, so to speak. What do we have at the sacral, please? 10 of Pentacles, Barbatos at the sacral. Yeah, there's something here regarding some sort of community or family, a group setting that a lot of you are breaking free of. Both of these cards are representing loss. It's like you realizing that in order to get this breakthrough, you're going to have to let this thing, these people, whatever it is, go. But they're certainly not making it easy. Whenever I get this card, it's like a greasy salesman, right? It's like they come through and they act like they're always sticking their neck out for you. Well, I was always there for you, right? But it was very circumstantial. And again, very narcissistic energy. See, narcissists will actually be there for you, right? But it's all a game because they do this to be able to gain control over all corners of your life. They become the puppet master. They know all the ins and outs of your energy and everything that goes on. And they make sure that you are always one step below them. That's the whole point of this here, is to make sure that you don't get to a point where you become a threat to the castle that they have built from other people's misery, metaphorically speaking. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I had the devil, okay? And I just heard they're the devil in disguise. Ace of Cups. Queen of Swords, Seven of Wands. Yeah, there's a lot of, well, this Queen of Swords, this is the pathological liar of the tarot. Seven of Wands, this is an energy that's basically trying to get you to give up. And then this Ace of Cups, it's an energy that's draining you emotionally. What do we have at the solar plexus? The world, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy, Apula at the solar plexus. And this is interesting because the world from this deck speaks about issues all of a sudden arising, right? As you're starting to move forward, it's like, oh, I guess you can't go now, huh? And it's literally right underneath the chariot, which is all about travel and movement. So there's this energy here that I feel is trying to block you or stand in your way. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. Queen of Wands, Paimon, deception, right? There's something going on here. I just heard bait and switch. Yeah, it's like an energy where they're trying to present something as being beneficial to you when in fact it's quite the opposite. This all represents deception, betrayal, bait and switch, greasy salesman, trickster kind of energy that's trying to get you caught up and stuck and burdened. I mean, look at this energy here. This person's got one broken arm, and then with the other hand, they're holding this beast. It's like they don't have anything to themselves anymore. It's like they're completely consumed by this darkness, by this resistance, an energy of being completely weighed down. And it's all connected to this energy here. Entertaining this energy pulls you back into a cycle. But they try to make it look good at first. And then as soon as they get you back in, it's business as usual. And then on this side, we have Haziel. Okay. So God and all your spirit guides showing up, right? They have your back. So this situation, just like any other situation in your life, is something that you have complete control over. The way you move right now is the message that you send directly to the universe. So if you entertain this energy, then you're telling the universe that that's where you want to be. Okay? But if you keep pushing forward, then you're telling the universe, you're telling the divine, you're telling God, spirit, and source that you are doing everything you can to push forward and remove yourself from this energy, which allows them to come through and protect you. Okay? That protection we always hear about, no weapons that form against us shall prosper. This is only if you understand what I'm telling you here. The weapons that form against you that will prosper are all a result of you entertaining this energy again. You're not protected when you're entertaining this energy. Why would the divine protect you from that? The divine sees the only way of you getting out of that energy is when you're sick of being attacked by that energy. It makes no sense to protect you when you're sitting in the middle of hell. They want you to feel the heat of hell, so you want to get out of there, right? I mean, look at God. He's staring right at you. Or, well, what could be, right? God's like, I told you. Look at you now. It's like you have your hat down over your eyes. You're almost kind of humiliated. You're like, What do we have at the throat, please? Oh, perfect. The world. Look at that. The world, the world. But they're different. This is a negative polarity. This is a positive polarity. So, left-hand path, right-hand path. Underworld, divine, right? Devil, God. However you want to look at it. So, we're seeing these two completely different outcomes here. This is what it looks like if you go back or you entertain these energies, right? This is what it looks like if you move forward. This card is essentially saying that you have the world in the palm of your hands. Fountain of wisdom gives success in all ventures. Right there, God, the source of wisdom. And it's right underneath that Ace of Swords, which is that energy of victory. There's something here around communication for a lot of you as well. That's going to speak to a whole bunch of you out there. This could have something to do with your path and your purpose and where you're going. There may be something that you're going to communicate, something you're going to write, something you're going to create. Doesn't have to be just that, but there is an energy here. Okay, I'm getting some ringing now. There is an energy here where the struggles that you are overcoming in this situation, and also beyond this, it doesn't have to be just this situation. I feel that this is just a final event on a path of destruction that you've had to navigate to get to where you are now. But it's like everything culminates, and now you have, right, this fountain of wisdom that you're going to use to move forward with on your path. You're going to build things. You're going to create things. Okay, so I'm seeing that support group in my mind's eye again. You know, sometimes it could be that simple, right? You just connect with one person. You let them know that they're not alone. You understand them. That, in their world, is a miracle. So don't think that you have to achieve some monumental success on the other side of all of this. That's something that we sort of create in this material world. Think about it in terms of energy, okay? And just connecting with people on a soul level. That's what this is really about. What do we have at the third eye, please? Hangman, Nishael, the only God. And again, this reading is so much like the other one in terms of the cards that came out. We got that same card at that position and this card at this same position. So I feel that the reason for all of this is because of how persistent the enemy is being right now. And you know, we had the strength card upright at the heart in that reading as well. And I said lion heart, right? But now we have it here in reverse. So it's like a two-part message where the first message was really for you to remember who you are. And this message now is saying, okay, get ready because the enemy is on their way, however that looks for you. And there's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be fearful of. If anything, the enemy should be scared of you. But this hangman here is really speaking about you letting go of this situation once and for all and this perspective shift. A lot of you have sort of been stuck in a space where you're not moving forward. You've removed yourself from some bad situations, but you're just kind of marinating in the nothingness of life. Almost like you're it's like a form of trauma, okay? But it's time to start moving forward, whatever that looks like to you. It's time to start putting your life back together, okay? Because just like I said, you can't let that residual energy of those situations, those events, those circumstances continue to hold you back. So whatever sector of your life you need to start pushing forward in, it's time, okay? Yes, divine timing's always at play, okay? But there's no harm in putting effort to push forward in some areas. So start preparing yourself for this. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please? Wow. The Lovers. Gemini energy at the crown to close out the reading. And the first card that I had in that previous reading was the Lovers. It was here from this deck. And now we have it here. So we're seeing the bridging energy, the connective energy. These are all additional messages that you need. Hanuel, joy of God, removes negative energy. Okay, so now we're seeing the alignment here. And see how, whenever I look at this card, I look at the Lover's card differently, okay? I don't always look at it as like, oh, your twin flame or soulmate's coming into your life. I look at it like you're coming into alignment with your higher self. Okay, it's like your higher self is rescuing you, okay? At least for a reading like this, okay? And there it is right underneath that Two of Cups, right? So in reverse, it's like you're being disconnected. You're being pulled away from your higher self. But now, okay, wow, I just heard this is a message from your higher self. Your higher self is sending you a memo. This is what's taking place. You're about to be rescued. But you being rescued, and look, again, right there, it's like you and your higher self. But you being rescued is listening to the message and applying it. That allows this to happen energetically. Your higher self doesn't show up as an angel and lift you up to the heavens. Your higher self is showing up right now in the form of guidance on how you are to move and navigate this situation. Okay, well, this is it. I'm wishing you guys strength. I'm wishing you guys power, happiness, victory, and abundance. You got this. So I'm going to leave this message here, and I can only hope that it reaches the people that it needs to reach. I would like to ask all of you to share this video if you feel inclined, and turn on your notifications, okay? All of these things help to push my videos out there so the right people see them. This is the message that I have for all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations. Take care.